the goals were really clear. I mean, we had to reimagine a purely touch-based interface. We had to sort of do things like cut down the setup times through just simplifying the interface as well, and then reduce that overall learning curve and the user friction wherever possible. So looking into it, I mean, some of the sort of practical things that we addressed, I think in order for it to be easy to pick up and use, we literally had to start from the ground up, and we sort of had to focus on those tenets of simplicity and consistency. So everything needed to be as simple as possible. The design had to be consistent. So, if you knew how to operate one screen, it would be pretty simple to move to the next one. And I think we got to leverage some of those sort of age-old or the OG UX principles, things like Fitts Law, just to sort of improve the speed and accuracy of interactions. Because there was a big sort of push for cost reduction as well to make it more affordable in the certain sort of specific models of these robotic arms, was just a default tablet with a custom housing. So we needed to look at how do people hold that housing? What are the target areas for, what fingers are they going to use? But things like that were really interesting, just approaching where we're positioning things on the screen to allow for ease of use and prevent strain from, repetitive tasks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think another point, progressive disclosure, because the thing is most engineers want to show things, whether it's menus, buttons, features, whatever, all at once is to show off, hey, it can do all this stuff. But that's a big problem. It's always a thing where we're trying to pull back things because you don't need to see everything at once. You need to see it in a contextual state. So that's always...
Absolutely. And that's a great point. I think that was the sort of evaluating the cognitive load as well, because they wanted to put this in the hands of, non-tech users to make a much broader market. And for a lot of those users, they're not going to use the most advanced functionality. They may want to install one of these robots and get it to do a simple task, like just welding a certain joint or moving one thing from one production line to another. So as you're saying, that progressive disclosure was a really vital part, I think, to just make sure that you're only showing things when they really are interested in that function, not just overloading the interface and make it really difficult for someone to understand where to go next. I think the other sort of key one was that visual hierarchy, just was vital for making it easy to understand. So, having optimized color contrast and layout for, what could be diverse factory lighting conditions, which are another thing. Like you could be using this in a number of different settings. So how is the tablet working with that? How are the colors responding? You don't want, incredibly bright factory lights reflecting your overly light interface and you can't really see it clearly. Other things, there was so much technical jargon, I think, as well, that, was great for a technical user, but it would leave someone very confused who didn't really have that technical background. So simplifying those sort of jargon-heavy labels, making it more sort of simple action-based prompts and icons. And I guess as with all good UX, we also design heavily around things like your feedback and system status. And then, of course, that sort of error prevention and recovery, sort of allowing those non-tech or expert users to recover easily and continue with their setup so they're not stuck with one particular problem. And probably the last one was, safety was obviously a high priority. I think even though, they were sort of the sort of soft touch, so if they bumped into you, they would, they would stop. It was still just making sure that that's front and center. And I think that's also where, there was the custom housing with that sort of emergency stop button.
I'm curious, in video games, cheat codes let you skip months of grinding to unlock special abilities instantly. Have you ever wished for something similar for your software challenges? What if there's a way to instantly access 20 plus years of specialized expertise instead of developing it all internally? What if you could solve in weeks what might otherwise take months or years? Would you agree that most organizations face a steep learning curve when implementing new software solutions? At my company IIIMPACT, we serve as that cheat code for companies looking to transform complex software into intuitive experiences that users love and that drive real business results. Would it be valuable to explore? And how might this work for your specific situation? Visit impact.io for a free strategy session focused on your unique challenges.